Oh, that's probably a better picture anyway.
Ooh, you're probably right.
All right, guys, I'm going to try to go live on YouTube here, just to let you know.
For those who have joined, Meg is streaming the meeting through our YouTube channel so that if anyone from the public wants to attend, they can watch it there.
Hmm. Right on.
How have you been doing, Paul?
Yeah, I've been doing real well. Just things are a little slow with the crap going on, but everything's good. Everything's good over here.
Well, that's good. That's good. Staying safe, staying healthy, right?
That's it, baby.
Looks like we have Warren, Roy, AJ, and Christina trying to connect now.
Yes.
There's AJ.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Hey, AJ.
Hello.
Hello, Roy.
Yes, I'm hearing name only.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you, but we can't see your picture. I guess that's you just on the phone.
We can all be thankful for that. Yeah, I do not have a camera.
Okay. Jim Badowich, have you joined us now?
I'm here.
Okay, great. Jim, did you have any plans to want to vote on your cases today, or you just still need to make any final adjustments?
I gotta go get a pen.
There I am. Sorry. I don't know if we have the latest one that we're looking at. So
Yeah, I know that I think at the last meeting way back in March, you wanted to have them on the agenda for a possible vote, but I think you also wanted to make some final tweaks to them. So
yeah. So I don't think we can vote today. Let me look at it again, and we'll get it maybe for next time. So I think I got to make some minor changes if I recall. So.
okay. Warren, are you on?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
No.
Warren, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
I like your background there, Craig. That's pretty official.
Well, like I told Gordon, I says you can either look at that pretty background or my living room. So
You guys are still working from home?
we are, yes. There's rumor floating around that we might be starting to look to going back to a different normal schedule, with the normal schedule being a 50-50, 50% in the office and 50% at home for perpetuity from here on out. That's what they're talking about.
Wow.
Gilbert opened its doors on Monday back to the public, but with a reduced staff. I'm in the next phase, which is to be determined when we go back in the office. Like Craig said, on a limited basis, kind of a revolving schedule. So it may be a while before I get to see the inside of our building again.
Well, I'm back in the office, have been for the past couple weeks.
Oh, wow, okay.
Although don't see too many people, few more now, but
Yeah, I'm only there 1 day a week. I'm in on Tuesdays. The rest of the time I'm at home.
Well, we had the option to work from home or come in, and most of us, I'd say about 3/4 of the staff just decided to come in. So it's basically been status quo for us. So
yeah.
we did shut the lobby down, so the public couldn't come in, but we had a drop-off system for plans and documents. But we opened up to the public lobby June 1st, and then July 1st will be the last phase, and then most people should be back here July 1st. I don't know about you guys, but the construction has not slowed down at all. We've been super busy out in the field. It's just like there's
Same
nothing
here.
changing.
Yeah, that's what I hear
Yeah.
here. We're actually, from what I hear from our inspection crew out in the field, is they're actually seem to be getting busier because nothing's slowing down. We're still moving everything like crazy.
Yeah, construction has not slowed down at all for us. So.
One piece of good news for us all.
Yeah,
That's
from a supplier standpoint, we set a record the last 2 months for materials that we've supplied. We haven't hit those numbers since before the big recession. So
Wow.
we're as busy as we've ever been, and I'm kind of with Jim. Nothing really changed for us. I've been coming into the office every day, and we can still work from home if we need to, but most of us have still been business as usual. So
That's great to hear, Jeff.
it is good for everybody. We've had very little issues with our pandemic, so we've been blessed.
David, are you online right now?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, there he is. Yes, David.
Okay, sorry, I'm trying to figure out the mute button.
So on my count, Gordon, that is 7.
I have Ryan Nichols is also joined. Ryan, are you there?
Oh, Ryan's here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so yes, we do have 8 for a quorum at this point. We can't lose anybody. Hopefully we'll have a few more join us.
I'm thinking about waiting a couple more minutes before we actually get started, just to, like you said, just to see if we can't get some more people.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm not here, my camera is in attendance. So I think legally that counts, I think.
Gonna have to get yourself a mannequin and put it in the chair, right?
Right.
We have someone who called in with the last number of 445. Who is that?
Gordon, this is Peter Canderas. I can only call in. We're not permitted to use Zoom.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we've had a couple of firms that don't want to use it. Although they have fixed a lot of their they've got a lot of patches that have fixed a lot of security issues already though.
Yeah, it's our IT people. They block us.
Oh wow.
Once it's a bad apple, it can never come back, right?
Say, is anybody using Teams at all to communicate through
Yeah, we
Microsoft?
use that on occasion too.
Yeah, Gilbert's been using Teams.
Yeah, that's what we're using over here in Scottsdale. I know.
Yeah, Buckeye uses it internally only.
Yeah, it works really well. We've had a few glitches with some outside firms. It either not connected or kind of it's been a little confusing on trying to get people invited.
We've been using WebEx here, at least that's what our IT group endorses, but various other methods too.
From our standpoint, we use the Zoom. It works pretty well, I think, but have been using Google Meetings with the ADOT staff. ADOT's gone to, everything Google. So that's been problematic at times, trying to get that to work really well.
I just wanted to remind everybody who's joined the meeting that Meg is streaming the meeting over YouTube. So the meetings are being recorded so that if the public wants to attend, they can watch it there.
Well, I'm sure that'll go viral.
Will those meetings persist on the website or just live? The recording will it persist?
Right now they are persisting, yeah.
Okay.
Anything that goes on the website, anything that goes on the internet is permanent. Come on now. You know that.
Dan Neeson, have you joined us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay. I'm not sure if I was muted.
Well, Gordon, I think we're up to 9 total. You want to get started and see if we can grab stragglers as we go, but start rolling?
Sure, that sounds good to me.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our inaugural first virtual MAG Standards and Details Committee meeting. Not quite sure online right now who's here who's not normally here. So we're going to kind of go from agenda item number 1 to number 2, a call to the audience. So to attend the meeting by technological means, members and the public may first access the link to watch the video stream on the MAG website by clicking on the view and listen link provided under the related links section at https://www.azmag.gov/event/25646, or members of the public may submit written comments relating to this meeting to www.azmag.gov/comment within 1 hour of the posted start time for the meeting. Moving on to number 3, approval of the March 4th, 2020 meetings. If we could take a quick look at the meeting minutes from our last March 4th meeting, and we'll take a couple of minutes to go through these. Not planning on much time, so we can keep moving, but we'll go through those and we'll take a roll call at the end for any items that we need to find out and fix. So I think we've probably had some time to go through these. Like I said, we haven't been attending these meetings for a while, so I'm going to try to move on to item number 4, using the
Okay.
Zoom for the virtual meetings.
Hey, Craig,
Oh,
before you move
Need a
on,
motion.
yeah, can we,
yes. Need to kind of take a roll call and a motion for approval of the minutes.
Craig,
All
this is,
motion to approve.
So that was Warren.
Warren,
I second it. Ryan?
okay, sounds like more approval. Warren approval.
I'll
We
bring
can
up,
kind of go through a roll call.
sure. Let me share that screen.
Okay,
So you've got the agency members in attendance. If you could
okay,
do the roll call to find out their votes.
okay. Avondale, Jim?
Yes.
Buckeye says a yes. Chandler?
Yes.
Gilbert?
Yes.
Mesa?
Yes.
Peoria?
At this time, there is one change that I would like to add before we finish. I should have spoken up sooner, but I couldn't get it unmuted. Is it too late to suggest a change?
No.
Okay. On case 6, I'm sorry, on item 6, case 1909, the last sentence of the first paragraph, I mentioned that private residential sewers often use cleanouts instead of manholes.
So you just want to add the word private in front of residential?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I think that's going to be simple enough to do.
With that minor change, I vote yes.
Okay.
That's on the last sentence of the first paragraph, Dan.
Yes, on item 6.
Okay. I'm going to keep moving forward. Phoenix
Yes.
and Scottsdale.
Yes.
Surprise.
Yes.
ARPA
Yes.
and Associated General Contractors. Brian.
You may be muted.
Okay. SRP, are you out there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Good.
Paul?
He's muted.
Okay. Paul Nebaker?
Just wave, Paul.
Give us a
Okay.
thumbs up, Paul. There you go.
We'll go back to Brian Gallimore. Are you online? Are you out
Yes.
there? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's a unanimous yes. So we can move on to item number 4. Using Zoom for virtual meetings. Staff will provide information using the Zoom platform to conduct meetings. If we can move on to the individual cases now. Item number 5, case
So
number 19.
how long is it we're gonna be using Zoom the rest of the year?
That's a good question, and I don't know if Meg has an answer for that yet. The employees of Meg are still working from home all this month. Then we might start a transition plan next month. But as far as keeping the meetings available to be attended virtually, we may continue that even if we begin meeting in person as well. So it may, I don't think there's been a final decision on it yet, but I think that they plan on continuing to use this at least for the foreseeable future. Another question that we need to think about, and this might be make more sense when we get to the working groups, but Meg has only been allowing committee members to join the meetings and for the public to watch them, via the streaming. But for a lot of the working groups, they're mainly people from the public and industry, and they change quite often. So how we conduct the working group meetings is also something that's hasn't really been decided yet.
Do you want to talk about that at this point, Gordon?
I'll leave that for the chair to decide, if you want to do it now or later.
I think we could probably bring that up in the general discussion at the very end.
Okay.
Great, because we have some ideas about that, and it's probably something we should discuss as we go forward.
Okay. As far as the other things, we just started using the Zoom platform like about a week ago, so it's pretty new to us as well. And we were having problems with the Adobe Connect that we were using before, dropping people, so we switched to this. But our IT department still has some concerns about security and allowing people to share screens and things like that. And there's been issues, I guess, not with MAG, but with other public agencies using Zoom, where the public has been able to get in and share appropriate things on the screen and stuff like that. So we're trying to figure out how we can best manage those issues.
So, all good questions that we'll hopefully get to and get some answers on. So, carry forward cases, 1904, revision to section 360, updating the telecommunications installation specifications. Warren, you got any updates on that?
I have a few minor updates I have not yet made from our March meeting recommendations. I was sort of holding off, but then obviously things kind of slipped in our worlds. But I was kind of waiting to see at that time what the comments might be from AUCC, which it sounded like they did meet. They met yesterday, and Dan can talk more too. But I don't think I think they were waiting on MAG comments, and we didn't have any comments other than what we had already in the case. So, Dan, did you have any updates that you've heard from the utility community?
No, nothing new other than what we had received earlier in the year and that you already have incorporated.
Okay. So I guess my plan is to make those minor updates that are itemized in the March meeting minutes, and then I'll have a draft ready for our July meeting, and hopefully we'll be able to still have it settled for this year final vote. That's still the goal.
Do you think that the comments could be minor enough that we could either potentially put it out for a revision review next month and then a possible final vote in August?
I believe yes.
Okay. I think that'd be a good thing. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get it wrapped up and back to Gordon in the next couple weeks then.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey, Craig,
Yes.
if Warren, once you get the edits made, if you send that to me, I'll share it with the AUCC and also blast it out to the utilities. One last comment.
Perfect. I'll include you first then, and then we'll make sure, and then we'll have the final one ready for Gordon by the agenda packet at the end of the month then, hopefully.
Very good. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Warren. Thank you, Dan. Moving on to item number 6, case 1909. It's a new section 626, corrosion coating sanitary sewer manholes. Jim?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I haven't had a chance to look at this lately, but I know last time we only had a few minor corrections I was going to do, and I was going to try to wrap that up with the next working group meeting, but that got postponed as well. So my plan is just to take the last few comments, and they're just a few minor ones, and update that and I get that to Gordon for the agenda for the next month's meeting, and I would like to vote on them next month. So. I haven't had
Yeah.
nobody's gotten with me any comments or anything, so I think we're pretty well done with it, so.
I agree. So, okay, we'll plan on possible action next meeting.
Correct, thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Item number 7, case 1911, revision to section 611. This is to add sanitary sewer manhole vacuum testing. Jim?
Yeah, same thing on that. I'll do it, do a couple tweaks, and then next month I'd like to vote on it, so.
Okay. Same thing. So moving on to number 8, case 1912, revision to detail 550. The spillway inlet and outlet. I don't know if Carl has joined us since we started, but Carl Rockwell, are you out there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Got you now, yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't see Gordon's email earlier, so I was hunting around for passwords and logons and stuff. But I'm here now. So, yeah, I sent Gordon an update. I don't know if Gordon was able to get it around to people, but it's not done yet. But if you could guys take a look at it, I changed the shading of the distinction between what is the inlet and what is the spillway. I know you guys had some other comments about strengthening the spillway, and there might have been some other comments I didn't get to.
I do have that detail I can show on the screen if you want to take a look real quick.
Okay, yeah. If you can, you can see that the old detail had horizontal and vertical lines distinguished between what was spillway and what was scupper or inlet, I guess you call it. So I went to a shading. I think it's a lot more clear this way. Plus, I've added these very distinct dimensions for staking, which is what started this case to begin with. So I know you had some other comments on it. I didn't get to some of those changes, but if you could take a look at it and come up with more markups, comments, and get them to me probably through Gordon, I would appreciate that. Have any questions?
I did just want to note that this detail has been posted on the MAG website on the meeting page for today. So if you want to download it there to review it, you can.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll get working on this one, Carl, and get it wrapped up also. So thank you. Moving on to new cases for 2020, case number 9, 20+20-01. Gordon, do you know if we gotten any others besides the A, B, C, and D that we had before our sabbatical?
I didn't receive anything new. Okay.
So if anybody has any new miscellaneous corrections, just let myself or Gordon know, and we'll add them to the list. Item number 10, case 20-02, deleting detail 346. Warren, you got any on that?
No, still no comments. Still ready to approve at some point, unless anyone has any need to keep it. I think we had determined in past meetings it's no longer in use, and what does occur, it's on site and much different these days.
No, agreed. And I guess talking with excuse me, with Paul in the past, that these are basically antiquated, old, outdated, rarely used devices anymore.
You know, that's interesting, Craig, and I sent you those pictures that IMCOR's still putting them in on their big buildings, and I'm not sure what the reason for that is other than out-of-date engineering, actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's something, maybe that'll be something that if we can get rid of this detail, that our out-of-date engineering will be up to date.
Agreed.
So this is Roy with the city of Scottsdale. I did check with our fire department and they were in agreement. It sounds like with most everybody else, it wasn't a detail that we use either. So we have no issue with deleting it.
Great.
Okay. And like I said during our last meeting, the city of Buckeye was the same way. Our fire department doesn't mind if it's gone. It doesn't affect us at all. So it sounds like, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Warren, but it sounds like we might be able to push this on the agenda for action next meeting. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that makes sense, given our discussion today and in the past. I'd say take it off and one less thing on the agenda.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, sounds great. Sounds great. Thank you, Warren. Moving on to item number 11, case 20-03, revisions to section 725 for the Portland Cement Concrete. Jeff, do you have any updates on that?
Before our sabbatical, as you put it, Craig, I had gotten some comments back from Jose at the City of Phoenix, and communicated back and forth with him. And of course, our intent was at the next working group meeting, which would have been the end of March, we would have some additional conversation about it. So I think we will try to do that at our meeting on June 25th. When we decide how we're going to do that, it may completely be virtual, it may be on the phone, it may be somehow, but I think we want to try to put make sure everyone is comfortable with the language here so we can try to make this move forward this year also. Some of these are pretty minor things. I certainly would ask you guys to send this to your people, let them take a look at it, get whatever comments back we can get in a timely manner, because we certainly want to get this to move forward this year.
Yes. Okay. Well, if there's no comments or questions on that one, we'll fly through this agenda, going to agenda item number 12 for new and potential cases. Do we have any new cases that we want to bring up for 2020? It's one of those things I can't tell if nobody's speaking up or if everybody's on mute. So.
Greg, I still hope to bring a case forward on the CMP detail on section 623, I believe it is. But
okay,
with the lockdown, I haven't been able to go and really track down the information I need to present. And hopefully, I was hoping to bring that into a working group committee with some industry representatives to help structure that, but see how that works out in the future here.
Right, right. Actually, I was thinking about that, I guess, a couple of months ago. In terms of, you're talking about it being watertight, right? That was the concern.
That's the concern. They're using that detail to install detention systems, and detention systems are not corrugated flow pipe.
Right, right. Well, my thought on that was, so it's going to be underground, and if there are holes, let's just call it holes in the pipe, then there's also points where fines can seep into the tank as well, where your discharge is going to typically, at least I'll speak for Buckeye, where your discharge in underground retention is going to be through the dry well. If we have openings other than the openings for the dry well, we may have infiltration through fines and whatnot. So
most of when these tanks deteriorate and fail, it's typically because they don't get cleaned out from some infiltration, and they should have maintenance and be regularly cleaned out so that they work properly. Because when they do get fines and they silt up, then the water sits in them and they rust out and they fail.
Yep. I think the key word that you said there was should.
Should.
They should be maintained. So, okay, no, that's great. If you could bring that up in
Thank you.
Some of the future meetings. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, these tanks, these underground detention systems are the rave right now. Everybody's using them, and I you know, like Paul said, if you don't maintain them, and some of these areas, you know, the soil is corrosive, and you really should be using a different product or at least coated system, and we're not seeing that. We require the report, geotechnical report, to see if the soils are corrosive or not. And then they've got to go to another next level and use a coated pipe. But I don't know, you know, I think we had one in Mesa fail. Ryan, you may know about that, but, you know, I think in 10 to 20 years, you're gonna, if these things aren't maintained or they're not built right, you're gonna see a lot more failures.
Yeah, I
That's
agree. We've
exactly
got
right, Jim. The failures that we've seen here, we've had at least 3. Those obviously due to maintenance. We upped the gauge in our standards a little thicker, but that isn't the end all. You still have to maintain them, and the coatings, which would be preferred, are obviously more expensive. And you know, the other issue is not designing them or installing them properly so they drain. You know, if the water sits in them, you know, it's going to be a problem.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, and we've only got so much limitation to controlling that because it's all on private property, so. You
Back
know,
to out of right of way specs.
yeah, so Peter, maybe
Yeah.
that's something that, you know, when that comes up in your wheelhouse, if it comes up, and we can try to get a better product, but we can only do so much because it's on private property. So if they want to do it and it fails, that's their problem, so.
Yeah,
Hey,
we've got a
Jim,
standard in ours that, sorry, go ahead.
Let's say this,
I
Peter.
was
This
gonna
is
say
that is.
Go ahead, Peter.
I say that underground detention tank is on our list of items that we were discussing and wanting to try to move forward sooner rather than later. We're trying to get the low hanging fruit on the low impact development first, and then that was pretty high up on the list of stuff we wanted to start tackling. So if Paul's got something, we'd like to look at it.
Okay.
Thanks, Peter.
Jim, I was gonna say I appreciate the thought there on the corrosion testing for those CMP pipe installation. We have typically gone to doing corrosion testing for our ductile iron pipe water lines, but I don't think that we currently require any corrosion testing on CMP pipe for detention systems. But that may be something that Mesa wants to look at. So I appreciate that thought.
Yeah, it just depends. Like I said, the thing is, a lot of this is on private property, so I think our jurisdiction is somewhat limited to that. But again, a lot of these engineers just want a detail to go to. So I think if we can address it through Peter's group, at least they've got something that they can follow, and we can try to, you know, better the standard through that route. My thought. So.
Yeah, and out in Buckeye, typically what we'll do is we since it is on private property and we don't have a whole lot of, like you said, Jim, we don't have a lot of authority. We always put it up to the engineer, and we tell the engineer that he's got to provide us a certified 50-year design.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things we all know that maintenance should happen. But in the real world, it's out of sight, out of mind. So, but at the end of the day, we still require the engineer to certify it for 50 years, saying that, okay, this is how it's going to last. Most likely, we don't know if it's going to last that long or not, but we will put it back on the engineering record. So
this is Roy with the city of Scottsdale along the same, the newer potential cases. I'm still working on the pervious concrete base course and detail. I've been working with both the outside right-of-way group as well as the materials working group on that, and hope to bring that forward at some point.
Okay. Thanks, Roy.
Along those lines, I sent an email to Roy. NRMCA is doing some webinars this month on a number of different subjects, and 3 of them are on various pervious concrete types of information. One on how to specify it, one on installing it, and one on maintenance guidelines. I sent the links to Gordon. I sent them to Roy already. So if anybody wants to get that information, we can certainly put you guys in touch with that. Their NRMCA webinars are about an hour long. They're free. People can, you know, utilize them. There's usually some good information. It's usually current information. So there might be some interest there.
Hey, Jeff, this is Roy. I just wanted to say thank you very much for sending that along. It was very, very timely.
Okay, good conversation. Anything else from anybody else, or
Craig. Hi, this is Dan. We had the item of the City of Phoenix Catch Basin Detail 1569, and I think you guys had your details as well that we were talking about. Is there a possibility of converting that to a mag spec?
Yes, I remember that.
And we had talked about taking it to one of the working groups to review the detail, and I didn't know which working group was going to be assigned.
Right. And I think we kind of determined we really don't have a working group for that one.
No.
So I thought we were going to take it to the water and sewer.
Okay.
I think that was the closest that we could have determined. So
Of course, yeah.
Jim
Blame
needs
it on the
something to
underground
do.
guy.
Well, if it's connected to pipe, I guess we get it, so.
It's underground, out of sight, out of mind. It's going to be water sewer, right?
There it is.
No, I mean, I agree with Dan. That's not a bad idea to get it in there, so.
Yeah. Well, that's what our catch basin detail is based off, is that City of Phoenix 1569. So.
Well, thank you. And Jim, let me know when that working group will get together, virtually or otherwise, and we'll make sure we have somebody participate either through just sending you comments or be on the virtual meeting.
Yeah, hopefully we'll discuss that here later on, in a few minutes.
Yeah. So. Moving on, unless somebody has anything else, to item number 13, working group reports. Water sewer, Jim?
No, it was just crickets. There's nobody there, so. So yeah, I'm interested to see how we can get these back online or back in start having them again, either virtually or whatever. So we'll have to see what Gordon has to say about that. So.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Is this a good time to do this now or what? Or
yeah, maybe it's a good time to talk about this since there weren't really any reports because no one had meetings.
Right.
For things that MAG hosts, we're using the Zoom platform just like we are right now. Like I mentioned earlier, the issue that we have is we need to send the link to the meeting only to the people that are participating in the meeting. So that means that, for example, the water sewer working group, we could host it similar to the way we're doing it now, as long as I have the emails of the people who are planning to attend. And lots of times I don't know who they are because if they're from industry and they happen to be there because we're talking about, their product that month or whatever, I would need to know whether they plan on coming. So if there's maybe when I send out the notification of the meeting posting, I can ask if anyone who wants to attend the meeting to send me a request. Obviously, for the people who attend most of them and the MEG members, I have your emails and I can send them to you. But the issue that we have at MEG is people that we don't know from the public, we don't necessarily want crashing the meetings for security reasons. Some other options that I've heard for the outside working group meeting, I got an email from Ann Reichman of ASU, who has a lot of the same people on their Sustainable Cities Network program, and she said that they may be able to host the meeting through ASU for that group, since she has most of the contact information for everybody there. And then for the working groups that are hosted at ARPA, I don't know if maybe Jeff has some ideas on how they could host them, or if you want Meg to try and do that virtually. I'm up for suggestions.
So Gordon,
Hey, Gordon, for the water sewer, for example, typically we have a known group of people that attend and external folks as well. Is there a way to keep it at that level, and then if there are those, extend out the invite, and then if we can vet the people on the list that might be new that we don't know before
Yeah.
we.
I think we would need to do something like that, because we can't just release the link like on our website, because we don't know who's
Right.
going to click on it.
Well, my suggestion would be that what I need to do is get the agenda done early, and give it to you, Gordon, so you can send it out. And part of that agenda, you could put a link or something, and then basically the people that want to attend, they gotta kind of get like a reservation or pre-approval, and then you can send the link to them, and then that's one way we could reach out to the people who are interested. So
Right. That's what I was thinking. We could maybe do something like that, where when I post the agenda on the meeting notice on our website, typically afterwards, I send out a Gov delivery notice to everybody on the Gov delivery list for specs and details. And there's about 600 people on that list. It's a fairly large list.
okay.
Just saying that if you would like to attend the virtual meeting, to contact me, and then we could send them an invitation that way. Because just like for this meeting, I didn't post the link to the Zoom meeting on our website. I only emailed it out to the committee members to use. And for people on the public, they have a link that takes them to the YouTube page where they can watch the streaming version of it.
Hey, Gordon, I think that works pretty well. I know that City of Mesa is opening bids virtually right now. And in order to meet the public opening process, that's exactly what we do, is we notify everybody that if they want to attend the bid, they email the person who's hosting it, and then they can get added to the invitation list to be able to join into the bid meeting. It works well as long as it's a small group. If it becomes too many people, obviously it becomes problematic for the host to try to handle all that. But if it's just a few people, that works pretty well.
Yeah, and I think for the most part, it probably would be. You've got the core group that comes to most of them, and then you've got the people who are interested in a specific, case or project that might come to the meetings that pertain to it.
And then we can invite people that we know if they're interested, and tell them to send you or get a hold of you, get kind of pre-approval from MAG to see if they can join. So
yeah.
So kind of an overall thought, Gordon, on this. It sounds like different cities are beginning to open up. What is MAG's overall standpoint on this? Are they starting to talk about opening the offices back up? Because what I'm thinking is, if that's the case, then would it be an opportunity to, potentially have meetings back down at the MAG office, but we would still have to have the social distancing in place and other potential items?
Yeah, they're still discussing it here at MAG. And so we have a staff meeting on Friday when we're supposed to learn more about this plan. So I don't really know what's going to be happening yet. I do know that for all the month of June, MAG staff is staying home, except for a few people in fiscal services and stuff who can't. And then they've been talking about starting to open up the office in July and having kind of alternating who comes in, so that you don't have the entire staff there at once, but maybe half of them at a time, so you can kind of distance people out. But I don't know for sure what that's going to be yet. And I also don't know what the plan is for meetings hosted at MAG yet. It's not going to happen next month. Maybe in the following months, they're going to start having regular meetings again. I don't know yet, but even if they do, I suspect they're going to continue to allow people to call in or use the virtual meeting option if they don't feel comfortable coming to an in-person meeting. So I think that's kind of where we're going, but again, I'm not sure 100% yet.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that for nothing else, that we could kind of get that out and say, okay, this is where we're at, understanding MAG standpoint and basically understanding other different municipality standpoints. So no, thank you.
let me try to give you an idea of where the ARPA staff is and their facility at this point. I just got emails, starting Monday of this week. They've made the determination that they can start to resume in-person meetings starting June 1st, which obviously was Monday. Certainly they have information talking about, top priority is our health and, goal to create that environment. They're going to continue to have the ability to connect remotely for meetings. They're going to increase disinfection procedures in high contact areas. Hand sanitizers will be available for members and staff throughout the office, available face masks if requested. Again, still just trying to encourage people, when we are meeting, to follow those CDC guidelines about, distancing and all those kind of good things to keep us all safe. But they are going to start allowing those meetings to occur. And if so, what we were thinking, what the ARPA staff is using is they're using GoToMeeting as their platform for the meetings that they're using. That doesn't mean that we couldn't use Zoom, we couldn't use anything else that we wanted to use. But my thought process would be, you guys have already hit all the things, is to determine our core of people who are normally at the materials working group meetings, have the ARPA staff send out an email to them, as they have done on some of their other meetings, saying, hey, the meeting will be held at this time, this location. Provide the fact that it can be GoToMeeting, and based on that, you could also call in by telephone if you wanted to, and leave it up to people to decide whether they feel comfortable, meeting in person, or whether they still want to do it virtually at this point. Our next meeting would be scheduled for June 25th. Is when we would do our next meeting. We had already backed it off a week when we made the determination of what the meetings would be for the calendar year this year, because normally the ARPA convention would be the middle week of June. Obviously, that's been canceled because of the things that we've got going on now, but we decided we'd still leave that June 25th meeting rather than trying to change it. Having said that, that gives us another 3+ weeks to decide as the environment continues to move forward. I think we all have identified that it's an ever-changing scenario almost on a daily basis in our various organizations. So that would still leave us 3+ weeks to decide what made the most sense by the time we got to the 25th of June. So I think at this point, we'd like to try to do some sort of meeting on that date, and then try to hammer out the specifics to that as we get through the month. But my thought would be to have it be basically either way, the ability to meet in person, as long as something doesn't change before that time, and certainly have that ability to meet virtually, either by phone or by GoToMeeting or Zoom, someplace along those lines. I like the ideas you guys have thrown out, and I would put out the ARPA staff and myself to administer that, not ask Mag to do that, Gordon and Mag to do that, unless that's something that we want to do as a universal thing. The ARPA staff certainly could maintain the email notice and the ability to determine who's coming and give those people the right information.
Yeah, if you're hosting it at your place, you may want that information anyway. Plus, I think you've got kind of an email list of the people who attend that I may not have everyone on that list.
No, I totally agree with that, Gordon. It makes perfect sense that whoever's facility it is probably who we should have handling the guest list, I guess I should say. And certainly we have that email information. And as you guys already recognize, the agencies and industry invite people in and out of those meetings based on the subjects being discussed and so on. And certainly we would have a better control over that if we allowed the ARPA staff to do that. And as always, all things subject to change, but I think that's kind of our rudimentary plan for the materials working groups going forward at this point.
Currently on the schedule, we've got the specifications and details water sewer working group scheduled for June 16th. Jim, does that sound still like a good day for you?
Yeah, I'd like to maybe back that off to the next week, the 23rd.
Okay,
June's a big month anyway, so that way I'll get the agenda out to you early and we can get the word out and kind of get everything lined up. So let's just do that for this month. Let's assume we'll do the working group. If Mag is willing to host that, we'll do a virtual meeting on the 23rd.
okay, yeah, I'll try and get that set up and figure out how we can have people join who aren't the regular attendees.
Yeah, that way we can give you time to get clearance on your end. But I think that's what we do, is just make it an invite only and get the word out. And I think, this virtual, at least for the rest of this year, is going to be probably the only way, or at least going to be an option. And who knows what next year, and maybe all virtual all the time. Who knows? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure I want to go downtown anyways for a while. So.
I guess the Meg building had some windows broken in it.
Yeah, that's crazy. So.
Yeah, it's
But
right,
yeah,
right in the middle of things there, Gordon, that's for sure. The ARPA offices, they've been concerned there also. And if any of you who have been there, the fortunate thing about them is there's no real windows that face out on the streets, and they're pretty well, their compound is pretty well already secured, so.
Peter, did you have any thoughts on the outside working group?
Well, I think Ann had kind of kicked around that idea with using ASU as the conduit, at least for the electronic meetings. I understand that we're kind of tied into what everybody else wishes to do. We're actually back in our offices, but we are restricted on having visitors here, so that would probably not go over well, even though we have the meeting space. So. Yeah, I think we're going to kind of tailgate on with everybody else in terms of how they want to approach having live meetings again.
Well, I'm thinking we can probably, well, I guess time is going to tell. Let's preface everything first. But we could probably start dovetailing live meetings with virtual meetings, and maybe not have everybody show up at a meeting location in person, but at that same meeting location, if the technology is available, have virtual access. So we're kind of having a group meeting with all this protocols in addition with the virtual technology as well. Yeah, I'm just throwing stuff out there.
Yeah, Meg has always allowed people to audio conference in. And so the Zoom meeting might just be another option that Meg is going to allow for all meetings in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we end up doing.
Well, that wouldn't be a terrible thing for me. It would save me an hour drive from Buckeye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment.
That's really an excellent point, because I think we're all finding in our organizations that these types of technologies that we're forced to use now are becoming things that we are going to choose to use going forward, because they're going to give us maybe some more productivity, and we can still get the things accomplished that we want to get accomplished. So I certainly echo those same things. I think we're going to find a number of us who are going to make those choices even after we are able to all get back together to stay in the virtual world.
Very true.
Could be.
Yes. So I guess from the water and sewer working group, let's, I think, like Gordon said, we're probably going to be about the same. Asphalt materials, do we have any reports on that?
Craig, I don't believe, I have not heard anything from any the asphalt guys. Obviously, the ARPA technical committees have not been meeting either. They haven't even been meeting virtually, similar to what the MAG groups have been doing. So there are some things brewing out there that are probably issues we need to deal with, but I don't know that anyone is at a point at this to be able to bring that forward to to MAG for any sort of cases. I believe we're gonna find 2020 is gonna be one of those years where we're gonna finish a few things and then we'll have a bunch of stuff come January 2021 that we're gonna deal with.
Right. Okay. Okay. That works well. Thanks. Peter, outside, do you have anything other than what you've already shared?
No, we obviously everything kind of shut down, so I don't have anything. I think we already got the report in terms of the pervious pavement. That's the one thing that's been moving forward. We've had some just emails going back and forth trying to see if we can get something scheduled, and Gordon's been involved with those. I need to talk to Ann and see if maybe she's made progress. We haven't got anything really to stick in front of you yet, but we plan to do that this year.
Okay. And last but not least, Jose, do you got anything for the supplements for the City of Phoenix to MAG?
Yeah, unfortunately, since March, we haven't actually met. That working group's been postponed, at least, and definitely for now.
Okay. Okay. So, all right, well, sounds like the Water and Sewer Working Group may be wanting to meet June 23rd, and everything else is on a standby. So, all right, sounds good. And
Craig, the materials groups will meet on the 25th too.
oh, okay. So we'll put that down for June 25th.
In some format or multiple formats.
Okay. All righty. And general discussion. One thing I was going to actually bring up as we were talking reminded me about our ADEQ update. I'm going to guess that right now the governor's a little bit busy, so he probably hasn't been looking at any ADEQ requirements. But I'd like to leave that in the agenda because I don't want it to slide or be forgotten about. So. But I'm sure that they are still working down there, but I would just assume and guess that that is not one of their hot topics right now. So other than that, if anybody else has any other general discussion?
Yeah, I do. Being that we've lost a couple of months here, I know normally in the MAG group, we have, I think September is our last meeting typically. I'm wondering we should start thinking about maybe going and utilizing the month of October and November for meetings, especially if we have the luxury of using a virtual platform, so it's not that big a deal. I'd like to at least have people think about it, that maybe we need to see if we can extend the season, let's call it, the MAG season, a little longer, but that might make it more harder on Gordon because you've got to get these specs wrapped up. So I'm just throwing that out there as a discussion item.
Actually, and that's something that I've actually thought about. I think I talked to Gordon about it just a little bit, was we've got some of these carry forward cases from 2019 that, you know, we need to start thinking about wrapping up. And if we start getting to a date that, you know, they start getting close to their date, the last Gordon and I talked was we might actually have to pull them from the agenda just so we can reintroduce them the next year, unless there's any other opportunities, Gordon, that we could maybe extend it on a special basis.
Well, the rules for the cases were established by the committee itself, so it's not anything that I suppose the committee could make an exception to if they wanted. If we do have additional meetings, that may be an opportunity to finish something up if you look in September and it's not done yet, but you want to get it done for the year. And obviously, since we missed a couple meetings, that might make sense to make them up.
But I don't want to put any undue pressure on you, Gordon, because you know you got that deadline of January 1st to get this thing all packaged up. So
yeah, we do have. I don't know if we could do a November meeting because we have to, or at least in the past, we've given 30 days to the public works directors for them to review and provide any comments before we make the updates to the book. And then they also go to our management committee and regional council And their last meetings of the year are at the end of November and the first week of December. So I don't see a problem with October. November, we would probably not be able to have that 30-day review period if we were going to go into November.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe we just look at October then, one more month.
With the number of cases that we currently have and the changes, it doesn't look like it's going to be a very big agenda packet, unlike last year where it was like a whole brand new edition. So, you know, it may not be as much work on my end to do the final update packet, but we still do have that review period built in with our committees.
Right. Well, hopefully mine will get approved next month, so you'll have time.
Yeah. If I can get an early start on some of the cases, that'd be great.
All right. But yeah, let's maybe think about maybe going into October and the working groups, you know, if they want to go further, you know, I'm open to entertain that discussion. So we can, so we can come back like, we can come back gangbusters in January with all kinds of stuff. So.
Yeah, as long as we don't have to do this again. No, I think that's a great idea.
All right, that's all I had.
I also wanted to thank everybody for figuring out this virtual meeting thing and installing the software and attending this way. I know it's a new thing for me and probably for a lot of you in the past month or two. So I really appreciate your flexibility.
Thanks for getting it going, Gordon.
Yeah, thanks for hosting.
Yes, thank you, Gordon. Other than that, that's the agenda. I don't think I want to call a roll call for adjournment, but I do want to thank everybody for attending. This is, like I said, this is our inaugural virtual meeting. That
I'll motion we adjourn.
Okay. Looking for a second?
I'll second.
There we go. So, but anyways, well, thank you, everybody.
You're official now, Craig. So.
Okay. And we will see you in the next meeting.
See you in the waterworks group.
All right. Thanks.